Greetings and welcome to chapter 6. We're going to take a look at Jainism today and looking at the chapters we're going to cover. And it looks like we get out of this one, we're kind of at the halfway uh, point of the show, right? And yeah, that's the way the 6-week courses go, right? So moving uh, along rapidly here. Jainism has approximately 5.6 million adherents to it, and all but about 275,000 uh, live in India. And it's a relatively small religion. Through the centuries, however, it's earned a special reputation for having exemplified the ideal of nonviolence. And I'm going to be shedding light on the main elements of Jainism with regard to both aesthetics and the laity and the interplay between those two groups. So we're going to begin to explore Jain teachings by looking at the distant past to the foundational figures whom all Jains revere as Tirthankaras, makers of the ford or river crossing. Each is considered to be a Jina, a conqueror, which comes from the name Jainism. So, though having conquered the realm of the samsara, which we've looked at, the cycle, which is the cycle of moving from birth to another, the Tirthankara has metaphorically, if you will, successfully crossed the river from the worldly realm to the beyond. So the realm of the liberated, the Jains believe in eternal succession of the Tirthankaras. Mahavira, the 24th and the last Tirthankara of this world cycle, was probably born near Vaishali, located in the northern Indian state of Bihar. Scholars tend to think that the date of his lifetime would be to the second half of the 5th century BC. And in the 13th year of the ascetic wanderings. Mahaviras, believed by Jains to have attended the state of Kayala, or omniscience, all-knowing, right? The complete and perfect knowledge that leads at the time of death to liberation from the realm of the samsara. Now, perfectly enlightened Mahavira set about preaching the tenets of Jainism. Mahavira preached some 30 years until at the age of 72, and that's when he died in the town of Pava. Like Vaishali, it was located in the northern Indian state of Bihar as well. Now, Jain scriptures constitute the main source of the religion's teachings. The Digambara and the Svatambara, these two sects differ with regard to the recognized sets of scripture. But in any event, all Jains essentially agree on its most important ideals, which are ahimsa, nonviolence, and asceticism. While prevalent throughout the traditional religions of India, Jainism emphasizes the central place of ahimsa, the pure, unchangeable, eternal law to cite a well-known passage that Jains are familiar with. Jains are strict vegetarians, and they go to great lengths to try to avoid harming life forms. In keeping with the general Indian notion of samsara, Jainism conceives of time as cyclical and envisions the cycles as upward and downward turnings of a wheel. So the current age is said to be Kali Yuga, to be followed by a sixth and final stage of degeneration before the cycle repeats itself, starts over again. So spatially, Jains describe the universe as the Loka, a vast and yet finite space within which all beings dwell. So beyond the Loka, there is nothing but strong winds. So the Loka, together with everything in it, has always existed and will continue to exist eternally. Jainism thus does not believe in a creator God. Okay, Jain scriptures spell out the categories of existing things in meticulous detail. The categories of existence can be said to begin with a simple distinction, that between the living, which is termed the jiva, and the non-living, the ajiva. The non-living is further divided into four: motion, rest, atom, and space. Jainism holds that the universe has an infinite number of atoms, forever distinct from one another, along with an infinite number of jivas, or souls. All jivas are essentially equal, regardless of the bodies they inhabit. Liberation or release of the soul. Jains, and I'll have an aside here, but Jains, like Hindus, use the term moksha. But liberation or release of the soul require that one attains the state of kavila, or omniscience. The religious life strives to clean away the dirt that, through the process of karma, has tarnished the jiva, and this returns the soul to its original state of pristine purity and releases it from samsara. Kavila frees the jiva completely from the tarnishing effects of karma. Moksha and kavila are distinguishable in that one has attained kavila, normally goes on living in the physical body, confined to the realm of samsara, while one who achieves moksha is liberated from the body. Perhaps because of Jainism's belief in a never-ending succession of world cycles, Jains have not kept a detailed historical record of their own tradition. So historians tend to agree with the traditional view that Mahavira himself followed an already established form of Jainism. Possibly that of Parshva, the 23rd Tirthankara of this world cycle. Scholars also situate Parshva's lifetime in the 8th century BCE and in the 9th century AD, about the time that the influence of the Buddhists was severely diminishing in India. The country's religious landscape at that time was undergoing a rather sudden shift with the influx of Islam that was beginning in 1192. So for centuries, Jains have been very successful in business, perhaps due to their religiously motivated focus on trade as opposed to agriculture. Also, the Jain community is highly respected for its charitable giving, in keeping with their profound emphasis on ahimsa. Jains commonly take in and care for animals that are maltreated or are targeted for slaughter. Although they generally do not actively seek converts to their religion, Jains tend to be outspoken advocates of universal vegetarianism and have so exercised wide influence in that regard. Among the recent remarkable Jain figures, Srimad Rajanchandra is especially known outside of India due to his connection to Mahatma Gandhi. Jain influence has also reached well beyond India through the Indian diaspora population. Two main sects of Jainism, the Digambaras and the Svitambaras, which I mentioned earlier, have many things in common, yet they are interesting and instructive differences. The Digambara, or the sky-clad monks, as their name infers, go about naked. The Digambara nuns do not. They don just simple white garments like their counterparts in other Jain sects. Now, a sizable majority in the Svitambaras, unlike the Digambaras, they use alms bowls when begging for food. They accept the possibility of a woman attaining the Kivala, and of course they wear clothing. White Svetambara clothing within Jainism, and there are two distinctive sects, the Stanikvasi and the Tarapanthi. Jains believe that the ascetic life offers the spiritual path that best replicates the lives and follows the teachings of the Jinas. Most Jains, however, do not choose this arduous lifestyle, right? They take up instead the lifestyles and duties of the Jain laity, not the religious leaders. So aesthetics, therefore, depend on the almsgiving of the Jain laity and sometimes of Hindus in order to eat. Usually wandering in groups, they spend about 8 months of the year traversing the land, and then 4 months during the rainy season with lay communities. Ascetics commit to the 5 great vows. The vow of ahimsa being the centerpiece, of course. The Jain laity, along with the provision for ascetics, engage in a wide variety of worship activities, including the worship of the Tirthankaras and a pilgrimage to Jain holy sites. And there you have it for this mini lecture. Be sure to look at the chapter objectives and the reading assignments for the week, and write your discussion questions and the quiz. So until next time, I think we're gonna get into Sikhism next, another Eastern religion. So see you then. Bye-bye.